Hi, this is Kathy Eldon for the Huffington Post, Caught in the Act. Today I'm here with John Edward. I've just been on his show called Evolve. And John, you did the show Crossing Over for many
I
years.
did.
You've done so many books.
People know me as a psychic medium. I've been doing this work for, this is my 29th year. I am, am so much passion to teach about life and loss and to raise awareness so people can put it into action and understand that there's more to this world and that there is something else. And that even though somebody's not with us physically, they still are with us.
Yeah. Tell me about the book that you wrote.
Infinite Quest was written for my kids. I thought, they're so young. If anything happened to me, if I got abducted by aliens tomorrow, how would I be able to put my voice in their heads spiritually and energetically? And it's the How to Develop Your Intuition book. It's the book about raising awareness about psychic work and intuition and psychic protection, but it's to give them an edge. So it's got a very, very paternal tone to it. It's how to develop your abilities. And it's written for them.
But it's not as though you think everybody who's going to read it is going to be a psychic.
No, I actually say it right in the beginning of the book.
Over and over
Yep,
again.
I say it over and over again in the book. Do not read this book if you think you're going to read the book to have a new career. It's
Yeah.
not about doing readings. It's the how to develop your psychic abilities, not to do readings. Develop your psychic abilities book. Because I really think that if most people paid attention to their intuition, it would give them an edge. They would see things with clarity. They would make more informed choices. They would feel empowered. They would come from a place of being motivated by the love in them as opposed to the fear. And so many people are motivated by fear.
So how do you listen to intuition?
I think the way you listen to intuition is first understanding that you have it and giving yourself permission. So I always talk about three words: permission, acceptance, and recognition. You have to give yourself permission to recognize that this exists. And then once you recognize it, then you have to accept the fact that it's happening. So once you go through the permission, the recognition, then the acceptance of it, then you journalize, like you have journals. The journalization process is very, very important because when you write something down, it's now more real than it was before. I mean, I saw that in my own family. I was doing readings for 15 years, but when my book came out, my first book, I had instantaneous credibility because now I was a published author and I was like, are you kidding? By this point, I'd done thousands of readings. But there's something about it when you write something down. So if you have an intuitive hit, if you write something down, and then it happens, there it is. On this date and time, you felt this. And you build up a trust. And I think trust in the fact that we have a team of energies that are with us. Whether it be your family or friends, usually not, but they kind of play a role into it as well. But this team that you have is there to guide you and give you insights. So it kind of changes your vocabulary. It gives you a different way of looking at life, approaching life, and looking at something and saying, what am I supposed to learn from this?
I wrote a book, which for me as a journalist felt very brave, because I've talked about my interaction with what I would perceive to be my team spirit,
Right.
team of spirits. I wonder, do you feel that there's a dimension that is interacting with us that maybe have some ideas about how we might be able to be in the world so that this world can survive what we're doing to it as mankind?
Absolutely. I think the little tip of the iceberg is let's talk to grandma. But the bigger picture
Yeah.
is beyond grandma on the other side. What does that realm want for us here? Because you have to look at, this is the classroom. And that's the people. Those are the energies that are helping to define the curriculum. And we choose to matriculate into the University of Life to be able to learn, to evolve, to grow, so that when we transition back home there, it's like, here's what I've learned. And I feel that they do want us to be inspired. The word inspiration, breathing. They want us to, interrupt spirit. They want us to have that inspiration. But, driving here today, and now I know why, I was driving behind a car and the guy's license plate was free will. And I thought it was really interesting that today I was driving into the office and boom, there's this guy's license plate, free will. And I thought, well, where's this going to come up? And here it is.
Yeah.
So even with team spirit, even with understanding our intuition, even with understanding all of that, the onus falls upon the individual, that's us, in the physical body, who is a divine spark of that spirit energy. We have to use our free will to make choices. And ultimately, I think that's what they want us to do, to make inspired, empowered choices to come from a place of love, not hate, come from a place of love, not fear, come from a place of love, not judgment. And I think that there are great shifts that are taking place on the planet. And it takes people with a position of power, leadership in different ways. Look what the Pope is doing. massive shifts and changes, taking an archaic belief system and going, let's just fast forward this and get with the times. Awesome. Because somebody like me, who really does consider himself to be a recovering Catholic, now stops and goes, wait a minute. The head of this archaic kind of process is recognizing it's archaic in its thinking, and it's adapting, it's evolving, it's shifting. And as a species, we all have to shift, adapt, and evolve. Otherwise, we can't grow.
I think that's very exciting, because the connecting with Granny is very important, because it validates
Absolutely.
This belief that
it's the immediate gratification.
Yeah, like how great to hear from Granny.
Right.
But ultimately, the importance of it all is not just that little bit of validation. It's the choices that we as individuals are making in our lives for ourselves, but ultimately that will affect and impact all of us going forward.
Well, like you lost your son.
Yeah.
Immediately when you kind of connect with this world, you're not thinking big picture, you're not thinking team spirit, you're not thinking inspire people by loss and grief and make changes. You're thinking, where's my son? Is he okay? Is he going to be a participant in my life? Is he going to see his sister get married? Is he going to see his nieces and nephews? And all that's the first level. That's the first tier, the human stuff. And once we get to that level, then we start looking at, well, what's beyond that level? Is there something beyond that level? And once you ask the question, then you know you're on your journey. Once you ask the question, you've already started your journey. But only you can answer the question.
And you know, Dan's book was called The Journey is the Destination. So once you're on the journey, that's your destination, and at the unfolding of that. I'm so excited to know you.
Thank you.
And really, and you know, people who are watching this, it's really worth checking this guy out. He's the real deal.
Thank you.
How do they find out about you?
All they have to do is go to johnedward.net and click on Evolve.
And then you can click on creativevisions.org and find out what we're doing. It's all about creative activism. It's about taking the creative spark that each one of us has within us and using it not only for ourselves, but also for others. And you've taken that creative psychic spark, medium spark, and turned it into something that is totally service for the planet.
Thank you so much
for saying
that.
Very grateful.
Thank you.
So thank you, Huffington Post, Kathy Eldon, Creative Visions, and I always give somebody a hug afterwards. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.